An important responsibility of a UX designer is to create flows for the different user journeys in an application. However, a lot of designers are confused between the different types of flows such as task flows, user flows, wireflows, and UI flows, and how to use them correctly. In this video, I'm going to explain each of these different flows and why you should use them. First, let's talk about task flows. A task flow is a linear path a user takes to achieve a particular goal. The word linear means straight, so we focus only on a specific task. For example, on Uber, if a user wants to book a ride, they will open the app, tap on the search bar, type a destination, select their desired destination, choose a ride, and then tap on the confirm CTA button. As we can see, this path is linear and it helps us look at the different steps that a user needs to take in order to achieve a particular task. As a UX designer, this will help you think if you can reduce the number of steps and make it easier for a user to complete a particular task. So for instance, if we observe that a user goes to the same places multiple times, we can reduce the number of steps they take to book a ride to go to those places by showing them their favorites at the very first step. This way, a user doesn't have to search or type their query for their destination. They can simply tap on the options that are shown up front. Task flows are super useful when you want to drill down on a particular task and improve upon it. But what if a user wants to change their payment method or they want to schedule a ride for another time or another day? If we want to see a bird's eye view of these different task flows, we take a step back and we create what's called a user flow. A user flow is a high-level overview of a user journey that helps us see the different tasks and the different goals a user can achieve in a particular journey. So if we take the example of booking a ride as the user journey, there are multiple different steps and there are multiple different tasks a user can take in this journey. For instance, they can book a ride for themselves, they can schedule a ride for later, they can add multiple stops, or they can book a ride for somebody else. These are different tasks a user can take under the same user journey of booking a ride. So a user flow is essentially a bird's eye view of these different task flows that are linked together. Creating a user flow will help us understand if all the different tasks in a user journey are linked together in a seamless and coherent manner. As a UX designer, we could decide to club different tasks together if it makes sense, or we can elaborate on certain tasks if we feel that they are too cluttered or they are too cramped in a particular user flow. Instead of writing a user flow in text form like this, which can get very complicated as the user flow expands, we can use shapes that are universally accepted and understood by various team members on a project. It's very common for UX designers to use these shapes and create these various flows so that everyone on the team understands what's going on and how to read it. Next, let's look at wireflows. Now, wireflows are very similar to user flows, but instead of using some shapes, we actually use wireframes in their place. Wireflows are super useful when you want to show different user flows to a client that doesn't really understand what the shapes mean, and it makes them easier for them to visualize a flow. Linking these different screens together in the form of a wireflow can help you create a prototype which you can test with users and other stakeholders. Instead of using wireframes, you can use actual UI design screens, making this what we call a UI flow. A UI flow is nothing but a user flow, except instead of using shapes, we use real UI screens. These UI flows are commonly used when you want to hand off your designs to developers to help them understand the exact flows and how the screens link together. This is super useful for a developer when they're developing, so they know exactly which screen will come after clicking a particular button or after a certain animation or interaction by the user. So those are the main flows that you will use in your day-to-day as a user experience designer. If you want to learn how to create flows such as task flows and user flows from scratch, I've mentioned this in my beginner's framework and I've applied it to a real-world example in my ebook. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video brought you value, and please subscribe if you want more videos like this.